of Allegiance, and after that, a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Mr. Thomas, if you'd do roll call, please.
Certainly. Mr. Delaney?
Here.
Mr. Dern?
Here.
Mr. Doyle?
I am not there in spirit. I'm not there in person, but I am present.
Mr. Hadley?
Here.
Mr. Seitz?
Present.
Mr. Taylor?
Here.
Mr. Vento?
Here.
Mayor Lightfoot?
Here, Brandon.
Thank you.
We have a quorum.
I need a motion to approve the treasurer's report for the month of December, please.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Delaney. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Taylor seconds it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. I need a motion to approve the expenses for the month of December.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Hadley. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second by Mr. Seitz. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Mr. Thomas, if you'd read the expenses, please.
Certainly. General fund payables requiring council approval, $630,558.17. Street improvement fund payables requiring council approval, $14,046.39. Fire fund payables requiring council approval, $28,105.94. Debt service payments from the fire fund, $151,429.95. Capital improvement fund payables requiring council approval, $712.20. Flood mitigation fund payables requiring council approval, $18,314.09. EMS fund payables requiring council approval, $3,043.07. 2019 bond fund payables requiring council approval, $1,005,380.38. Purchasing card direct vendor payments for Westmoreland Sanitary Landfill, $167,440.10, for total payables to be approved of $2,019,030.29.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Brings us to recognition of achievements in the community. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And obviously, I have a few. One of the things that this community and I really like doing is recognizing achievements made, particularly by our young people. And all the ones out there in the yellow shirts did an accomplishment this year. Guys, I don't know if you can see what I have up here. I've had this for over 50 years. And I gave it to every one of my salespeople. I've given it to my sons. I've given it to my grandchildren. And it says, there's no off switch on a Tiger. Now, you may not understand that now, but later on in life, I'm sure you will. There is no off switch on a Tiger. With that said, gentlemen, would you please rise? Come up here, please. You know, my sons played football years ago, and it heartened me when I saw that you guys beat Lower Borough. Now, Lower Borough was our big rivalry when my sons played. And they came on the field one day over here, and they all had plums. And they ran past all the guys, and they squeezed the plums. Who do you think won that game? Plum won that game. All right. This is a proclamation honoring Plum Colts 8U Division 2022 Youth Football Team. Whereas the hard work, dedication, determination, sportsmanship, and teamwork of the 2021 Plum Boro Colts accomplished many things in 2021 and finished with 11 victories to advance to the Allegheny Youth Football League Super Bowl, where they were rewarded by being crowned Youth Super Bowl champions of the AYFL. And whereas the Colts were able to hold Lower Boro, who averaged 42 points per game to only 6 points. And whereas winning the Youth Football Super Bowl is a nice legacy to leave to all who participate in youth sports. However, the true legacy you leave is that hard work, practice, even in the rain, determination to succeed, and teamwork will lead to success. Whereas Plum Youth Football Colts were led by head coach Tony Benora, assistant coaches Kevin Gowski and TJ Jones and Dan Petronic, who not only taught football basics, but they also instilled sound principles that will help these young boys to achieve success in life. And whereas the team member parents, through their support, were integral in guiding the team to victory in the Super Bowl and throughout life. And now, therefore, I, Harry R. Schlegel, Mayor, and the members of Plum Boro Council, do hereby recognize and heartily congratulate the 2021 Plum Colts team on its outstanding accomplishment. In witness thereof, I, Harry Schlegel, have hereto unset my hand on this 10th day of January 2022. Now, what this means, you guys did a great job.
Great job.
If I could follow that real quick, just want to say thank you guys so much for making us proud here in Plum. Back in 1970, my father started Plum Midget Football, and the first team that came out of that program, their first year, people were coming from other towns, and I'll remind you, back in 1970, Plum was a farm town, and these kids from the city were making fun of the farm boys. Not only did they lose to all these teams, that particular team went unbeaten, unscored, and untied upon for the first year. So I think that you guys have the potential to do that down the road, and I just want to say thank you so much for making us proud here in Plum.
Good job, guys.
Good job,
Good job, guys.
Good job. It's like herding cats. And the next one I have is for the Plum High School Mustang soccer team, the boys. Are they here? Anybody here from the Mustangs? Nope. Okay. Whereas Plum High School Mustang boys soccer team achieved outstanding success in the 2021 season, winning the Class AAA Section 3 champions for their third consecutive year with a record of 17 wins, 4 losses, 1 tie. And whereas Plum High School's Mustang boys soccer team represented Plum Boro with pride through their outstanding commitment to athletic excellence, a never-say-die attitude that put them at the top, a strong commitment to family and community, along with a belief in the power of teamwork and hard work to achieve success. And whereas the Mustang boys soccer team includes 5 young men who achieved excellence in soccer, playing major roles in the Mustangs' 2021 winning season. They are Lucas Pittman with 20 goals, Luke Kolonkowski, 14 goals, Tyler Scheckengross, 11 goals, and Ethan Rose with 11 goals. And whereas, in addition, 5 Mustangs were named All-Section Player. Luke Kolonkowski, Dalen Akut, Michael Waleski, Lucas Pittman, and Kyle Ryan. With an honorable mention, and Luke Kolonkowski was further honored by being named Section Player of the Year and named to the All-WPIAL team along with Dalen Akut. And whereas Plum High School Mustang boys soccer team was able to climb to the pinnacle of success because of the support shown by the parents of the team's members, by the on-field work of quad captains Luke Kolenkowski, Michael Waleski, Dalen Akut, and Kyle Ryan, and above all, through the ongoing going leadership and sportsmanship of Coach Raphael Kolenkowski, who was named Section Coach of the Year, and his staff. Now, therefore, I, Harry R. Schlegel, Mayor, and the members of Plum Boro Council encourage all residents to join us in honoring the players, coaches, and supporters of Plum Boro's high school boys soccer team. In witness thereof, I have set my hand on this 10th day of January, 2022. Is someone there from the soccer to accept this? Thank you. Did a great job this year. Please do. You're welcome. Now, these guys have been harassing me because they say I get paid by the word up here.
Whereas.
Do we have any of the Lady Mustangs here? Oh, just Jamie. Just Jamie.
The rest of them are playing tonight.
Ah. This proclamation is honoring the Plum High School's 2021 Lady Mustang soccer team. Whereas the hard work, dedication, sportsmanship, talent, and exceptional team chemistry of the 2021 Plum High School girls soccer team accomplished many things in 2021 and finished with a 12-0-0 section record that enabled these student athletes to earn a berth in the Whipple playoffs for the third consecutive year. And whereas, by winning the 2021 Class AAA section undefeated and into the PIA state semifinals by winning their first 2 playoff games, a first in Lady Mustang soccer history. They brought honor to Plum Boro School District, and their families. And whereas the Lady Mustangs scored 116 goals with only 8 scored against them. They were led by top scorers Caitlin Killinger, 30 goals, 11 assists. Marissa Liberto, 18 goals, 7 assists. Ava Waleski, 17 goals, 8 assists. Cam Rogers, 16 goals, 2 assists. And Annabelle Aaron, 11 goals, 5 assists. And whereas the Lady Mustangs had 5 all-section players, Annabelle Aaron, Emma, I'm going to mispronounce these names, Benetham, is that correct? Caitlin Killinger, Marissa Liberto, and Kaylee Simkew. And with also Caitlin Killinger, Marissa Liberto, and Kaylee Simkew were named all Whippio players, and Caitlin Killinger and Kaylee Simkew were named all state players. These young women all achieved excellence. And whereas head coach Jamie Stewart and assistant coach Bob Kovac, team member parents, faculty, and student body of Plum Boro High School were integral in guiding this team to victory due to their unwavering support. And now, therefore, I, Harry R. Schlegel, Mayor, and the members of Plum Boro Council do hereby recognize and heartily congratulate the 2021 Lady Mustang soccer team on its outstanding accomplishment of an undefeated assistance. In witness thereof, I have unto set my hand on this 10th day of January, 2022. Jamie, great job again. And my final one, I keep mentioning we have, there's a lot of great people here in Plum, and there are. And I have a site where I tell people to come, and I want to recognize as many as I can. But this next person, Mr. Haydeen, will you and your lovely wife come up here, please? That's, I know, Doris, you didn't do your hair right or whatever, but that's okay. As I said, we have a lot of people who like to remain anonymous, and I saw John and I says, I'm not going to allow you to remain anonymous, because he's done this not just once but many times. He's also donated a train last Christmas, I believe it was, to a family, a train that goes, that didn't have a train. And one of the parents had passed away. He didn't want to be recognized for that either. But John, the certificate of appreciation is presented to John Haydeen, whereas thoughtfulness and service to others is a hallmark of the American character and central to how we meet our challenges. And whereas volunteering of an individual's time and resources is an essential part of the American spirit. And whereas it is even more in evidence that Plum Boro's greatest natural resource is its people. And whereas John Haydeen is a shining example of this resource and deserving of our praise and gratitude for making a positive difference in the Plum community. And whereas John Haydeen generously volunteers his time and expertise to ensure that our Winterfest and other festivals are a success by donating his time and expertise in doing all of the electrical work. And whereas John Haydeen has over the years made generous donations to each of our volunteer fire departments to show his appreciation to the volunteers who make up our fire departments for their time and effort in protecting our community. And whereas John exemplifies the community spirit that helped to build Plum Boro and demonstrated that it is alive and strong today. And whereas each year many citizens commit their time, talents, and resources to improve the quality of life for our entire community, few can achieve the degree of service and commitment of John Haydeen. Therefore, be it resolved that I, as mayor, along with council, wish to honor and thank John for his wholehearted support of Plum Boro, our police, EMS, and fire departments. Signed this 10th day of January, 2022. And Mr. President, that's all I have at this time.
Thank you.
That's where you got to stop.
And that's a big thank you. I apologize, I missed one motion here on the agenda. We're going to move back to that. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the December 13th, 2021 council meeting minutes.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion by Mr.
I'll second.
Delaney.
I'll
I have a second by Mr. Vento. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. That brings us to civic announcements.
Good evening. I'm Pam Calfo, the director at the library, and I just want to share some highlights of 2021 at the library. We were able to circulate more than 111,000 physical and digital items at the library this year. More than 7,000 people have library cards in Plum, and we signed 381 people in Plum up for brand new library cards this year alone. We added more than 2,500 items to our collection, including board games, Steam kits, and upcoming in 2022, we're going to have a lot more new and different items for people to borrow. And we were able to hold 230 programs for kids, teens, and adults at the library this year. So I just want to thank everyone who participated in the library programs, checked out books, used our computers, or any other service the library offers, and we look forward to serving the Plum community in 2022. Thank you.
Thanks, Pam.
Thank you.
Sure.
Good evening. My name's Tom Banta. I'm the Assistant Chief of the Renton Volunteer Fire Department. I wanted to go over our annual statistics for the year. You're all getting a handout. I won't go over all of these numbers, but just hit some of the highlights. Renton Volunteer Fire Department this year responded to 576 calls. That's 313 fire calls, 263 QRS calls. This year we have 31 members, 13 active members. Our top 3 responders for fire-related calls are Chris Del Signor. He responded to 140 calls this year. Chuck Carroll, 122 calls. And Mark Ellis, 97 fire-related calls. Our top 3 QRS first responders are Mark Ellis with 183 QRS calls, Chris Del Signor, and Nick Scabetta. Our most frequent calls this year, 39% were automatic fire alarms, 26% were motor vehicle accidents, and 16% were fires. As far as training, we attended over 100. Our members attended over 100 training sessions this year. Community outreach, we attended 15, during COVID, 15 community outreach programs, which are listed below. Our top 3 QRS calls were difficulty breathing, falls, and responding to an unconscious patient. This is just Renton. This isn't any of the other departments of Plum. These are all volunteer hours. This is a small portion of what we do, and I just want to make sure the council was aware. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Tom.
you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Mr. President, I don't think our Colts need to stay if they want to leave. Gets boring after a while. If they
Before
want to
you come
leave,
up,
they're
Jim,
welcome to go.
what?
Look at that, the parents
Yeah.
are the first ones
If
over.
anyone would like to leave,
Thank you
Feel
for that,
free.
Mayor. I saw the parents' strained look in the back. They're just itching to get out of here.
They don't know we've just begun.
You're going to miss so much fun.
somebody's coat.
Don't forget your coat. It's cold out.
See that? I stacked a room and I
Tough
emptied.
act to follow there, Chief.
I know.
We're gonna start taking money off of you.
Maybe the mayor knows I can go on forever too, so.
You others that were looking longingly at the door, you can go too if you want.
I guess it's good to go. Good evening. I'm Jim Sims. I'm the chief of the Holiday Park Volunteer Fire Department. And first, I'd like to say on behalf of my entire organization, I can speak for the entire Plum President and Chiefs Association. We want to thank Mr. Hadeen for your generous donations. Last year, I got to tell you a story. Last year, I saw you at King's after we received our check, and I text Mr. Thomas, and I said, hey, John Hadeen's here. Is this anonymous? Should I say something? And Mr. Thomas says, no, he wants to be anonymous. So I apologize. I should have said something to you last year at King's, but Mike told me not to, so blame him. I'm here to announce we're proud once again that our 4th summer youth camp is scheduled for June 20th to the 24th, 2022. We started this program in 2018 with 12 youths. In 2019, we had 20. We could not do it in 2020 because of COVID, and last year we came back strong. We had 28 youth in our camp from June for the week-long camp. So we have not changed any pricing on camp. It's still $50. That's week-long. That includes their meals during the day, all their certifications, all their certificates, and they get 2 T-shirts for the week. So applications are open. And we welcome, they can come back if they were here before, and we welcome new youths. What's really nice about this program is the original intent of this program was to try and encourage young people to join the organization, to join the fire service. And what this has grown into is we have a lot of young men and women who are already junior fire department organizations from Westmoreland, Allegheny County, because below 18, there's only so much they can do. But when they come to camp, we give them that little extra training to keep their interest. And so we have youths from all over Westmoreland, Allegheny. We actually had a young man 2 years ago, was from Rochester, New York, was here. He came and spent the week with his grandmother, and this is probably one of the best camp stories I like to tell. His grandmother called me like Thursday before camp started, and she says, "Is there any more room? I want to send my grandson to camp." His brother plays football, his brother plays baseball, he sits home and plays video games, and he needs to do something. I said, "Sure, we'll fit him in." I said, "Does he know he's coming?" And she says, "No, he doesn't." I said, "Okay, we'll see how this works out." Well, Monday he sat by himself. By Tuesday he started talking. By Wednesday he was sitting at lunch with the other cadets, talking, laughing. You know, we have graduation at community days on Friday night, and that Friday night he showed up with a group of his friends he met and rode rides and played games. And his grandmother told us at graduation that we changed her grandson's life. And that's really what fire camp is all about, is giving youth the opportunity to learn new things. You know, and I even tell people, maybe they don't go on to become a firefighter or go in EMS, but teaches them about the community too. Maybe they go to fire camp, and in 15 years they're sitting on council. And the fire department comes and asks for help and asks for money, and they go, "You know, I was at fire camp for a week, and I know what those guys do, and I know what they learn." It may make a difference. So we teach community spirit, and we teach the fire service. So it's available June 20th to 24th. Applications are available online now. We're going to leave a few brochures at the podium, or I'm sorry, in the lobby out front. And the last but not least, believe it or not, we're 7 weeks away from our favorite time of year. It's going to be fish fry season that quick.
I'm in the mood for a fish.
Yeah, so.
Haven't eaten one since last year,
Yeah,
but
so
I'm ready.
we're only 7 weeks away. Thanks for your time this evening.
Thanks,
Thank
Jim.
you, Chief.
Anyone else? Okay. President's comments, I have none. That brings us to the agenda items for citizens' comments. There are none, so we will move into council actions. Mr. Delaney, on behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, I move to accept the Klobuchar Consolidation Plan FSC-10-21 as complete.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Hadley. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
I move to approve the Parco Consolidation Plan FSC-09-21 contingent upon the final review and approval of the borough engineer.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Mr. Vento. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
And lastly, I move to approve the Nancy 1 Consolidation Plan FSC-08-21 contingent upon the final review and approval of the borough engineer.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a second by Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And that'll be all, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Delaney. On behalf of Personnel and Management, Mr. Hadley, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Vice President, I'm sorry. I move to appoint John Schultz as the Buildings and Grounds Supervisor in Public Works effective January 24th, 2022 at a salary of $75,000.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a
I'll
second?
second.
I have a second by Mr. Vento. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
I would just like to point out for council that Mr. Schultz is sitting in the audience there, if you guys would like to introduce yourself.
Well,
to him after
welcome.
the
Hi,
meeting.
Mr. Schultz.
Mr. Schultz, why don't you come up and introduce yourself, please?
Putting him on the spot.
No, he showed up for the meeting, might as well.
Might as well.
Hi, it's glad to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome
I've
aboard.
been with Plum for almost 30 years now.
Newcomer.
I grew up in Monroeville and I married a Plum woman.
Smart move on your part.
And can say nothing but good things about the community.
Good.
Well, thank you. Welcome aboard.
We're glad to have you.
Welcome. Glad to work with you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Looking forward to it. All right. On behalf of the Personnel and Management Committee, I move to table this item.
Okay. I have a second on the floor to table the motion.
You have a
What are we
motion, you
tabling?
need a
I
second.
have a motion.
Item.
On the floor, I need a second.
I'll second it.
I have a second by Mr. Delaney. Any
we're
discussion?
Item 7.
Okay, motion on a hiring and replacement.
Of the Administration Department.
Probably know what tabling.
Yeah.
Any other
Wait,
discussion?
wait.
Or is that
wait,
wrong?
wait.
That's the wrong
I'm
one?
sorry, that's the wrong one.
Was that the wrong? Oh, is it number 5?
It is on number 5.
I
yes.
apologize.
It's not number 7, it's 5.
I moved to table, I moved to table the motion number 5.
Yes.
Yeah,
Do we have to read
my
it?
apologies.
No.
Okay. Do I have a second for that?
I'll second that one too.
Mr. Delaney seconds that motion. Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. On behalf of the Personnel and Management Committee, I move to accept the resignation of Maria Gingery effective April 7th, 2022.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second by Mr. Seitz. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Personnel and Management Committee, I move to appoint Jessica Yemnitsky as Assistant Borough Secretary effective January 10th, 2022 at a salary of $65,000.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a second by Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Personnel and Management Committee, I move to accept the resignation of David Seitz from the Planning Commission effective December 31st, 2021.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Mr. Vento. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of Personnel and Management Committee, I move to appoint Tom Oslick to the Civil Service Commission for a 4-year term ending December 31st, 2025.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second by Mr. Delaney. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Personnel and Management Committee, I move to table all of the library positions.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Mr. Vento. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Personnel and Management Committee, I move to appoint Dennis Hydock to the Municipal Authority Board for a 5-year term ending December 31st, 2026.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second by Mr. Delaney. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
I move to appoint Vicky Rossler to the Planning Commission for a 4-year term ending December 31st, 2025.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second by Mr. Seitz. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
I move to appoint Sean Davis to the Planning Commission for a 4-year term ending December 31st, 2025.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second by Mr. Seitz. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of Personnel and Management Committee, I move to appoint Dave Odom to the Planning Commission for a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2024 to fill the unexpired term of David Seitz.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a
I'll
second?
second.
I have a second by Mr. Vento. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Well, I got a discussion.
Oh.
I just want to let you know, those are some big shoes you're going to have to fill there, Dave, so you better do a good job. All right. Okay, now.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And before we go on, Mr. Odom, I'd like to congratulate you to fill that seat. Thank you, sir. And I feel the same way. Those are big shoes. I think he wears a 12. I think you wear a 9. Mr. Hadley?
Thank you. On behalf of the Personnel and Management Committee, I move to appoint Dave Majernik to the Vacancy Board for 1-year term ending December 31st, 2022.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a second. Do I have any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Personnel and Management Committee, I move to add to the agenda to appoint Dave Odom to the Stormwater Task Force.
I have a motion on the floor to add to the agenda. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second. Anybody have any input from the audience? Mr. Odom, this is your chance.
Run.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, on behalf of the Personnel and Management Committee, I move to appoint Dave Odom to the Stormwater Task Force.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a second by Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, on behalf of the Personnel and Management Committee, I move to add to the agenda to appoint Ken Brocious to the Construction Appeals Board.
I have a motion on the floor. I have a second.
I'll second that.
I have a second by Mr. Taylor. Any discussion from the audience? Mr. Brocious? You're good? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. It's added to the agenda.
All right, on behalf of the Personnel Management Committee, I move to appoint Ken Brocious to the Construction Appeals Board.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Vento makes a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And that is it, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hadley. There's nothing for public safety, recreation. Mr. Seitz, on behalf of the Finance Committee.
Yeah, thank you. On behalf of the Finance Committee, I move to add to the agenda a resolution for the 2022 tax anticipation note.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second by Mr. Delaney. Any discussion again from the audience? None? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Also, on behalf of the Finance Committee, I move to adopt Resolution 919-22 authorizing the 2022 tax anticipation note for $1.5 million.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Hadley. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Is that it?
That's it, sorry.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay, on behalf of the Roads, Equipment, and Grounds Committee, Mr. Vento, please.
Thank you, Paul. I move to enact ordinance number 960-22, vacating a portion of Elwood Avenue in accordance with Section 1731 of the Borough Code.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a second by Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Also, on behalf of the board, I'd move to approve the 2022 street paving list as presented.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Seitz. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. That's it?
That's all I have.
Okay, that brings us back in the circle to the mayor again.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
All right, our police department responded to 829 calls last month, and that's a decrease over previous months. I had another proclamation, but I forgot to bring it tonight, and I was going to recognize Stan and Pat Kazmarski, who for over a year now have been contributing to the waistlines of our police department by bringing in brownies and cookies and all the other things that they bring in. And I will read that next month. You know, one of the things I keep saying about the great people in this community, what they do is unbelievable. And some of our new police officers who have just joined us in the last month or two are amazed because from the departments they have come from, they weren't getting this kind of a response. So again, I'll get into that. During Christmas, our police officers were delivering toys. And they went to one house, and there was only one child whose name was on the list, and there were several other children in the house. So they turned around and got with Chief Conley, and they contacted Andy Birch and a Plum resident, William Jeffcoat, of Toys for Tots for the Allegheny Valley Marine Detachment, Marine Corps Reserve, or League Detachment, and to see if they had any available toys. Well, the next day, the Marines acted quickly, and they sent a few officers with a pickup truck because they had toys and bikes for every Plum child on that list. So a cooperation between our police department and the community again. And on December 18th, our Plum Police Department provided traffic safety assistance to the Holiday Park United Methodist Church for their live nativity scene. And now I go to thoughtful citizens, and I cannot say that I never get an invite when they get all these lovely desserts and that in, because I was invited. That took me 4 years of harassing them to get an invitation last month. On December 9th, a borough resident who wishes to remain anonymous donated $550 to the Toys for Tots at the Allegheny Valley Detachment 827 in Marine Corps League. And she declined having her photo taken. On December 10th, Rite Aid store manager Ryan Werner of the Golden Mile Highway location provided 8 cases of bottled hand sanitizer to the Plum Police Department to keep our officers healthy. In turn, the police department donated several cases of the hand sanitizer to the senior center, who was in need of the product. On December 14th, Soxman Funeral Home provided the police department with a large gift box of assorted chocolates for their assistance with a funeral procession. On December 15th, Mark Reed, if you're not familiar, Mark is the gentleman who has been providing birthday cakes since August of 2020, every month, to those officers who were celebrating their birthday that month. And the only reason he does that is because he recognizes all the efforts they put forth in helping this community, the same as the others. On December 18th, Jeff and Karen Wolf provided numerous loaves of fresh baked banana bread for the department as a sign of appreciation for our police officers. On December 24th, Joy Lavrich dropped off a cookie tray as a sign of the Holiday Park United Methodist Church appreciation for the police department. On the 27th, Michael Cerniglia of Michael's Painting, he does these things every month as well, provided gift cards to all the officers in recognition. And during the month of December, our department received numerous Christmas cards and thank you notes from borough residents, thanking them for their professionalism and service to our community over the past year. Again, we have a great police department because we have a great community. And I'm also looking for our new building. I'm looking for anyone who has a industrial scale that I can put in the police department so they can get weighed before they go on duty. And that's all I have, sir.
Thank you. That brings us to the committee reports. Finance Committee, Mr. Seitz, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Dern. General highlights for the month of December. Through December, on the revenue side, current real estate tax revenues were 100% of budget. Earned income tax revenues for the year were favorable to budget by 104%, or approximately $173,000. And the deed transfer tax revenues ended the year at 143% favorable to budget, which is approximately $170,000. Unaudited revenues in total are at 103% of budget, or approximately $14.1 million in total. On the expenditure side, through the month of December, the borough has expended 109% of budget, or approximately $15.02 million. Unaudited expenditures were unfavorable to budget by $918,000. And fund transfer balances approved by council to the debt service, street and capital improvement fundings totaled $1.77 million, which caused the expenditures to exceed the budget. The 2021 Independent Audit is scheduled to begin on January 24th and will be performed by Meyer Dussel. That's my report.
Thank you, Mr. Seitz. Roads, Equipment and Grounds, Mr. Vento, please.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dern. The Public Works report for the month of December 2021 is follows. And the projects for this month, the Center New Texas Road Culvert Project has been completed. Pugliana was a contractor for this project. Insight Pipe attempted to line a pipe on Chaparral Drive on the 27th of December and could not proceed because of high water flow. They will attempt to line the pipe again in early January. Under the road maintenance heading, they've completed pipe repair on Holiday Park Drive, and they continued leaf collection past the scheduled stop date of 12/3/21. They continued until the 10th of December. And they installed a swell that was requested by the contractor of the new borough building. This was installed to ease the water flow into the existing retention pond at the Al Franci building. They've completed tree trimming at the library. There's been a lack of maintenance on this property over the years. Those of you that don't remember, we picked up the maintenance for the borough, the library, I think last month or 2 months ago, and this is part of that. This was installed we have completed the tree trimming at the library. There's been a lack of maintenance there. Also, they did maintenance on the retention pond for this building and repaired 12 inlets in the parking lot. They also trimmed trees and removed bushes at the community center. They burned various roads where we have water runoff issues that could cause ice problems in the winter. They cleaned up after the Christmas at Plum Creek event. The tree and some decorations will stay in place until after the holiday. I'm sure they're working on that now, as weather permits. All trucks used for winter maintenance are now equipped with salt spreaders and loaded. They picked up latex modified cold patch for pothole patching to be used throughout the winter months. We continue to work on MS4 inspections. They've repaired and painted picnic tables for the park's summer season. They have ordered and installed street signs with a new logo in different areas. We have started milling and asphalt patching in various locations. Installed new street signs where necessary due to poor reflectivity or damage. They also removed any unnecessary signs. And they had a 4-hour call-out for the water main break. This was the only overtime for the month. Last year in the same month, we had 474 hours of overtime for the month, so that'll help the budget. Hopefully it's not quickly destroyed. And they had tickets that are given to the Public Works to take care of problems the community calls in. They had 45. There was 20 that were open during the month, the new ones that came in during the month. They closed 19, and there was still 46 left open that didn't get handled this month. And also for the people, last but certainly not least, the Malabar construction has begun. Now it's just moving in some stuff and some preliminary work, but they were expecting the culvert to be delivered this February 10th. So hopefully work with the culvert will get done quickly, depending on, winter water and a lot of rain. Unfortunately, it's nice that weather's been warm enough, it's mainly been raining, but unfortunately it's going to stop the construction on this project due to the high water flow. But hopefully that'll settle down here in the next month or so, and they'll be able to get that done and opened up for everybody's pleasure. So that's all I have. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
President.
Mr. Vento. Public Safety, Mr. Maloney is not here tonight. I'll read his report. For the month of December, Plum EMS had total responses of 293. Total patients transported, 185. Responses to other communities for mutual aid, 22. And 18 of those responses resulted in a transport to the hospital. Total mutual aid received into Plum for that month was 15. And out of the request for Plum EMS and Plum, 5.4% were turned over to neighboring EMS agencies. And some of the highlights. Plum EMS once again had an incredible year. And we look forward to continuing to provide extraordinary customer service to the community of Plum Boro. Some of the remarkable accomplishments we had in 2021 are as follows. Responded to over 3,000 emergency calls. Transported over 1,800 patients to the hospitals. Provided 54 free car seat safety checks. Distributed 16 free child passenger safety seats. Gave out 6 free cribs to families in need, and they wanted a safe place, so they got them for their infants. That was a great thing there. They were the first EMS agency in the Commonwealth to provide the 2 rounds of COVID-19 vaccine to homebound residents. They hosted a free seasonal flu vaccine clinic, and they provided CPR, AED training to over 400 people. So to close, I just hope that everyone continues to pay for their subscription, and also when the fire department send out their yearly letter, please give to them. They depend on those very greatly to keep their departments running through the year. Planning and Economic Development, Mr. Delaney, please.
All right, here we go. for the Planning and Economic Development Report for December 2021. Financial summary. There are 85 permits issued with $10,790 in revenue. The Planning Commission did not meet. The Zoning Hearing Board did not meet. For our activity summary, here's some of the highlights. We addressed concerns complaining junk and debris in high grass. The staff attended a meeting sponsored by the Turtle Creek Valley COG concerning code enforcement and problematic property owners. The demolition of 3 residential structures is complete. These were the structures at 518 Beach Road, 9045 Oak Street, and 430 Barking Road. We completed 91 occupancy inspections were completed. The staff attended an online webinar on traffic calming. The staff met with the Allegheny County Conversation District to look at and discuss a number of properties. Staff attended a number of pre-application and pre-construction meetings during the month. They worked on issues related to subdivision and land development applications. They worked on issues related to zoning amendments. And staff continued to work on a number of grant applications as well as discuss potential applications for 2022. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Delaney. And that takes us to Parks and Recreation. Mr. Taylor, please.
Thank you, Mr. Dern. I don't really have a formal committee report, but I would like to say that right now, Mr. Thomas and his staff are in the process of getting a meeting together with our state reps and Senator Brewster's office, with the senior center, the library, and our youth organizations, football, baseball, and soccer, to sit down and see if there's any possible grant monies, any monies at all that we can possibly get for these organizations down the road. And so that's all I have right now, and I hope to get this meeting up and going in maybe in the next month or so, and we'll have a better idea of where we stand.
Sounds good. Thank you, Mr. Taylor. The Planning Commission will meet on January 17th, 2022. And that brings us to the non-agenda items for citizen comments. No one has signed up, but if anyone has changed their mind and you'd like to talk about something, please come forward now. Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion by
I'll
Mr.
second.
Delaney, a second by Mr. Vento. All those in favor?
Aye.
The motion is passed and we adjourn.
Give them for good memory, okay. Yeah, she's my driver's license.